Morning, everybody. Tuesday it is. What is up? What's going on? So, today's topic, pins versus wins. And before I get into all that, because I want a few of y'all to enter the chat so we can sit there and let's talk turkey. First things first, though. Did you hear the news by Knuckles Up that the Arnold will be back? Yes, that news broke yesterday, and I'm here to tell you that's monumental stuff. So, again, think about this for a second. I've been to the Arnold. I went there in 2019, and awesome event. First time going, qualified for it, and it was awesome. Robin Chandler, what is up? And I always want to go back, but schedules didn't align right. The planets didn't align right, so I was able to go. But I'm thinking, okay, maybe next year, maybe next year, maybe next year. Didn't happen, and then the Arnold arm wrestling got canceled there. And we all know that Arnold, Columbus, Ohio, always the first Saturday in March. And it was depressing. It was kind of bummed out at the fact that there's no more arm wrestling, And then hold on to your hats because the Arnold's coming back. 2025, Knuckles Up announced it February 28th through March 2nd, I believe. So think about this for a second. Arnold's coming back. Are they going to have the same weight classes? I'm sure there'll be more to follow. But probably the biggest thing, because we all know with the Arnold, it was always a right-handed tournament, right? Always a right-handed tournament. What would you say if I were to tell you that they're going to introduce the left hand at the Arnold? Yes, I said it. They said it first, but I'm saying it right now. The Arnold not only will be back, but they will also offer left-handed competition. So, what do you think about that? And, by the way, if you were happen to win your class at the Arnold, that, before I go there, we all know in years past, if you won the Arnold, that's a lifetime event you can go to, meaning that you don't have to go to a qualifier in order to compete there. You can come back whenever you want to. Everybody always wanted the Letterman jacket, the Arnold champion. That was something everyone wanted, And this time around, if you win your weight class, guess what happens? You will also be on a future card on Knuckles Up. Think about that for a second. So there's benefits to that, right? And still with the Arnold, it's going to be international. It's not just focused on U.S. or North American base. It's going to be international. So they're going to put stuff in the works. Now, as far as qualifiers and where, well, they know for sure, since Knuckles Up is based in the New Jersey area, for sure they'll have a qualifier, okay? So there's that. That's awesome. So Robin Chandler, I think there's somebody else in the chat. Please comment on that. The Arnold will be back in 2025. So USS Liberty, yes, there are benefits. You get to win your class. You get to be featured on the future Knuckles Up match card. That's awesome, right? We already know what they can do anyway. So kudos to them for bringing the Arnold back. That's cool. Robin says, is Denise not running again? No, they're not. They canceled it. I'm not sure why or what the issue is with that, but they just don't want it back anymore for whatever reason. And now Knuckles Up talked to some people. Apparently they talked to the right people, and here we are. So there you go. But kudos to Knuckles Up. They're doing good things. And again, more oftentimes than not, when you get these big organizations trying to make a splash in our sport and they doing something different, right? And I think the good thing about all this is that they're not trying to compete with anybody. They are their own entity, right? Knuckles Up is his own thing. King of the Table, Arm Wars, Arm Gods, East First West, Montana Armbender, whatever, they are their own entity, So thank you for bringing that back to the forefront where it belongs. Nice job, guys. Okay, we got 2 people in the chat. Hopefully there's more. But when I take a sip of my coffee, we're going to get right down to the facts of the topic of today's show. Now, pins versus wins. And I don't know how long I'm going to go. This might be a short segment, but pins versus wins, right? What's more important? And for some people, and feel free to say something in the chat, pins versus wins. What's more important? Some may say it's one and the same. So when I actually broke stuff down, right, you can go multiple ways with this, right? Obviously, if I'm pulling somebody at a tournament, a big name, and I want the pin, I want to know that, hey, I got the pin, right? That's the competitor of anybody, right? Let me ask you this. You are on the world stage, WAF world, IFA world, doesn't matter. And you are in the finals against somebody from a different country, right? Ask yourself this question. It's the final match. And let's just say both y'all got a loss and it comes down to one last match, right? Ref says go. Some things happen. Let's just say the opponent you pulled elbow fouled, right? Cool. Reset. No big deal, right? And all of a sudden, you into it here or you into it there, and all of a sudden, their elbow pops up. And you know, WAF rules, IFA rules, that bunny hop is getting called. Now, world title is on the line. What do? They're calling, hey, second elbow foul winner. What do? Are you going to say, okay, it's a world championship, and this person's a stud, or in Robin's case, a studette, and I just won the world championship. I didn't win it the way I wanted to win. 2 elbow fouls, I'm the winner. Do I really want that? Knowing that, hey, because we've seen this before in the past in other tournaments where, hey, I don't want to win like that, reset it. But what if it backfires? You know? High Dollar Entertainment, what's up? Candy Passport, what's up? What if it backfires? We're talking about a world championship. They don't just hand them out. You got to earn that. You didn't earn your way up to the final match, right? That person elbow fouls for the second time and you're the winner. Do you take that win in the world championship, or do you say, nah, run it back? But if you run it back, you take an L because now that person knows what they did wrong and they have to readjust because this sport's all about readjustments, right? And they readjust and then they stop you and they go for the win. How do you feel? You know, how do you feel? All right. High Dollar Entertainment says, world stage, only the wins matter, but obviously a pin would be more satisfying. Exactly. So you got to ask yourself this question. On the world stage, it's different if you're at a state tournament, you know, local tournament, whatever the case may be. But then on the world stage, you might think and go, nah, you know what? I think I might want to just put that in my pocket because, again, you didn't work that hard to get to that world championship. And it's on your fingertips. You want to make sure you bring it back in. You know what I mean? So pins versus wins. What do? All right. Robin says, I'll take a win and the world title. You stopped in for them to elbow. Now, and that's the thing. We're all competitors. Everybody in this chat is a competitor. You know what I mean? So you got to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what would I do? I'd probably say, hey, you know what? We all got a job to do. My elbow's down. Theirs came up. Those are the rules, right? There it is. You know, I would take the win. Now, some people would just say, no, I don't want to win that way. And I get that. I get what High Dollar Entertainment is saying. You know, here's a quick did you know. Did you know 2010 WAF Worlds, Mesquite, Nevada. Can anybody tell me who won the 242 right-handed class that day? I'll give it 20 seconds. Who won the right-handed class 242 that day? World champion. We all know his name, right? Okay, we waited long enough. Dave Chafee. Dave Chafee won the right-hand 242 class 2010 Mesquite, Nevada, right? but he won because his other guy, his opponent, elbow fouled twice. And if you go back and look, it's somewhere out there. And you could tell he's happy, but you could tell deep down it's like, I didn't want to win that way, you know? So I get it, you know? But yeah, now there's another way this comes into play. Pins versus wins. Now, I've got some pins on some good arm wrestlers, right? So that's the pin factor. But within that pin, there was a series of matches, what we all know, super matches. But in the grand scheme of things, I actually lost the super match, which means the win goes to my opponent, right? Pins versus wins. So I'll give you two examples. Jordan Seal, awesome guy to Utah. Up to last year, we pulled on occasion plenty of times. Never beat him at all. He was just whacking me. It didn't matter what tournament it was, U.S. Open. I mean, hell, any tournament there was, now in his weight class, he put the boots to me, right? So last year, you know, in Utah, right? And it was a World Series of Arm Wrestling qualifier. I had a match with Jordan. And I got a pin on him. Legit pin. But guess what? Super match format, he ended up winning it. So I didn't win the super match. Keyword is win. But within that, I did get a pin on Jordan Seal. So again, pins versus wins. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, and of course we met in the finals and, you know, what happens, happens. But what if you have a John Brzenk, Michael Todd, whoever, and you get that win? But in the supermatch format, you know, they end up beating you, you know. I will take that win. I would, you know, because in our sport, it's a very interesting sport. I mean, sometimes it brings out the bad in us, brings out the good in us. It puts people in a weird situation, right? Because we all want to win. If you go to a tournament and you got 13 people in your class, we all know one thing is for sure. Out of those 13, one of them's going to win. We don't know who, but somebody's going to win. And, you know, you get to know about a person's character sometimes when they take that L, you know. You'll know a person's character. He could be pissed off. It could be, the ref screwed me, or, damn, I should have kept my elbow on. I've taken many losses where I look back and go, fuck, man, I can't keep my damn elbow on the pad. You know what I mean? So there's always that. But in hindsight, you know, I will still take a win within the match itself. Now, is it true, because High Dollar Entertainment said so, is it true that the higher the stakes, the more you go, okay, a win's a win? Whereas at a local tournament, you're like, nah, come on, man, just redo it. It all depends on what's at stake, because then that will determine where you go from there. I mean, I could be wrong. Do y'all agree? Feel free to say something. Do I agree? Do you agree? Because, you know, if it's a national world title, you got to think about that. Okay, if it's a stake, redo it, no big deal. The lower the event is, then you kind of go, run it back, no big deal. The higher expectations are, the higher the tournament, and there you go, right? So feel free to say something about that. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. Pins versus wins. Another person, I'll bring it up, over in Europe. He's from Romania, but the match took place over in Western Europe. And his name is Adrian Popescu out of Romania. Now, I actually got a legit pin on him, but in the supermatch format, he actually won. So that was my first real taste of international competition. And when I went over there, I was like, okay, I mean, And I'm telling you right now, anybody who's been to WAF Worlds, you know, or even the IFA Worlds knows what I'm talking about when you start competing against other people on an international level. Because I thought here I was doing something. I thought I was doing something here. And next thing you know, much to my chagrin, man, I ain't even anything, you know? All right. Robert Chandler says, I got a win at the FIFA Worlds by opponent fouled out. I took a win from her because she beat me earlier. Okay. And that's where take the wins when you can get them. I think it kind of falls in that category, right? Take the wins when you can get them because you never know. Because things can go backwards. Now, if you feel real confident, oh, man, running back, no big deal, and you still beat them, that just means you felt confident, you felt strong that day, you did what you had to do. But I always play the what-if game. Like, okay, if I do this and it backfires, I'm going to put my head through a plate glass window because I had it. I had the win right here. And God forbid if it's a world title, I had it right here in the palm of my hands, and I let it get away because I was trying to be the bigger person. No. It's okay. I want to really sink in that win. But then you got to ask yourself, okay, you did what you had to do. All the training leading up to it, the flight to get there, all the opponents you had to go through till you get to that point. All the rest is just details, right? So one has to think, okay, here we are, you know. So if anybody would ask me, would you take as far as that scenario goes, would you take the pin or the win? Fuck. If it's for a world championship, I'm taking the win. Take them as you can get them, right? But on a lower level, lower scale, then I'd be like, nah, man, just go ahead and run it back, you know, depending on what it is, you know. So even then, if I'm more willing to say, okay, fine, if I'm on the A side, depending on where I am on the A side, I'm on the A side, no big deal. Run it back. If I'm on the B side, I'd probably be like, you know what? It's a loss, you know, because I'm on the B side. That means you ain't got no more bullets in the chamber. This is it, right? So that's something to think about, you know. So I'm glad Arnold's coming back. And did you know legend status? And I just pulled it up because Ingan just posted. So I went ahead and just what we got here. So did y'all see the East versus West 14, Orlando, Florida, August 10th? Now, who's all going to be there? Did you hear about the legends that'll be there? Listen to this. Jerry Janney, Devin Larratt, Cobra Rhodes, Ron Bath, Johnny Walker. Those legends will be in attendance. Now, they won't compete, obviously, but they'll be in attendance. I'll say it again. Jerry Janney, Cobra Rhodes, Devin Larratt, Ron Bath, Johnny Walker. They don't get no better than that. You know, they don't get no better than that. Legends, right? And that'll take place in Orlando, Florida on August 10th. Now, we got the Challenger Series coming up, and that's going to be cool. I'm glad it's finally coming to the mainland because how many of our guys always fly across the pond and stuff, and, you know, we have to readjust to the jet lag. We have to readjust our time frame and all that kind of stuff, sleeping patterns and what have you. And they're just sitting up there fresh as daisy. Let those guys and girls come over to our country and let them do all that. You know what I mean? So, yes. So I'm excited for that. Man. So what did everybody think of Arizona State? And once again, Dallas Langston injured there. AJ Henson injured there. Gentlemen, heal up soon. Heal up fast. There were some injuries. I think there was some torn distal or biceps or whatever, but they got some injuries there. So, yeah. Yes, high dollar. Round robin was interesting. You know, what was interesting, you can spin this how many ways you want to. You got Craig Tullier, who won the 198-pound round robin, and all of a sudden now he's in the 220 round robin. All right. He did some damage, by the way, too. One thing you got to realize that in these round robins that there's strategy to a certain degree because it depends on who you get and when you get them. Because in round robin, whoever is in that, at some point you're going to pull them. That we understand. What's up, Dean? How we doing? So question is, though, Craig was what was that? So Craig beefed up for that. So think about it. 198 round robin. And, here's the thing. Before I get any, because I got a comment on this. So the 198 round robin, Craig Tullier won. We 11-0, right? 11-0, undefeated. And that had people like Arnold Taranenko, Robbie Russell, Jason Merlot, Adam Warzinski, list goes on and on. And and Bob Brown, that he got injured too. For Craig to go through everybody, undefeated, speaks volumes. Beefed up, got himself into this one, 220. I can't remember exactly where he finished at, but he did some damage too, So kudos to that. So LeRae Jenkins, and that was in conjunction with LeRae, he's doing and stuff. He's doing awesome stuff, man. I'm telling you. I can only wait, when will the 242 class happen? But of course, everybody's right-handed these days. Damn it, Anyway, like I said, so who you're pulling. You just don't know when and where you're pulling them at. So you can get some studs in there, and it's like going, damn, right off the bat. If I'm sitting up in there in the 220 class, right? And God, who's the guy from Sharkovich beat in the final to win? I forgot who he pulled, but if I'm Andre Sharkovich, right? That'd be my first opponent. Okay, Jordan Steele's second opponent, Craig Tullier. And I'm thinking Brent Rockers. I could easily go 0-4 to start this thing. Then you throw in AJ Henson. Damn. And the list goes on and on. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you cannot have one single win over there. Doesn't mean you're not good. Styles make matches. Shark is a real deal. Freaking beast. Yeah. The fact that he made 220 is something else too. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just Styles make matches. It depends on when you get them, So, God, I can't remember that one guy. Where's he from? Oh my God, it's going to mess me up now. I can't remember where he's from, but he was blasting through everybody. And if you saw the event, they were showing the scores, and it was him and Andre Sharkovich. They were like, oh, they're going to meet. Lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, they met toward the end. Wouldn't you know it, right? They was going like this. They was coming like this, And exactly, you know what I mean? So there you go. Jody, do you prefer tournaments or super match pulling? Hey, you know what? That's a good question. Here's the deal. This might surprise you. I love super match arm wrestling because it makes you become a well-rounded puller. What I mean by that, Craigie, what's going on? Sweden's in the house. It makes you a well-rounded arm wrestler. What I mean by that is that if we're going best of 5, or 6 rounds, whatever the case may be, then if I look at arm wrestling, and when I say it, I said this before in the past, and I want everybody in the chat to comment after I say this. I think of super match arm wrestling as being a baseball pitcher. Hear me out. So you're a baseball pitcher. Everybody got their pitch. Fastball, right? Cool, right? But do you have a curveball, breaking ball, changeup, a slider, things like that? Because if I'm coming at somebody, let's just say the Welsh Wolverine, Dean's in the house, okay? Cool. If me and him, are in a super match, and I throw my fastball, he stops it and pins me, okay, I got to go back to my corner and go, okay, I better have a curveball, a change. I better have something else, because if I don't, it's going to be a straight sweep, That's how I think about super match, and I love that. But to answer your question, my style is meant for a tournament, which is weird, right? a guy whose style is best suited for tournaments goes into the super match format. Now, I've had my share of super matches I've won. I've had my share of super matches that I lost. And more often times than not, it's that's just the way it is sometimes, you know. So yes, I hope that answered your question. I like super matches, but my style is meant for tournament. So hopefully that answered your question. So there you go. Craig is in the house. So here's Candy. I finished 12th out of 12, but had a blast. And this is when Candy was involved in that ladies round robin. Okay. She's definitely a tournament or super match pro in that round robin. So again, you know, with a round robin, you got to go, hey, what is your training up to that? Is it conditioning? Is it, you know, stamina? Because now you got to make sure you may smack everybody, go, okay, I'm feeling good. What if you can't do that? And you smack somebody and they drag you in deep waters, and then you got to go ahead and turn and burn and wear that person out. Now think of it this way. What if, let's just say, we'll use Candy as an example. Candy, we'll use you as an example. Don't be mad. Let's say Candy had a war with Le'Aaron Wilson. Okay? Had a war with Le'Aaron Wilson. It goes back and forth. Okay, oh, elbow foul, reset. You know, they go into again. Hey, shoulder foul, reset, a foul on each side. Here we go. They're going to it. All of a sudden, slip. You know, now they get the strap on and stuff. And meanwhile, guess, let's just say Merlene is Candy's next opponent. And she already just smacked her opponent. And now she's just waiting. And she's watching. Okay. You know, so here Candy got in a war because she has an elbow foul. Le'Aaron had an elbow foul, right? Then they slip and go to the strap. And so you got so many ready goes and you get into a war. Now you're burnt out, but you know your next opponent, that opponent already beat her opponent handily, and she's waiting on you. So, yes, from that standpoint, Candy, yes, round robin, it depends on how you prepare yourself. Conditioning, you know, maybe what I've done for round robins is to get ready for that, a king of table out of practice. I'm staying up here, go through everybody until they wear me out. That way I can kind of get used to the constant, you know, take me where you want to, hit me as hard as you want to, so I can get my body ready to absorb the hits any which way, you know. Hope that is. Oh, and just so we're clear, June 22nd, Central Oregon, Redmond, Oregon, the LOD, 4th annual. Be there. Be there. That'll be a good event, right? So again, round robins, super matches. Now, I'll say this. I'll even go a step further. You look at East versus West. You look at King of the Table and take away the championship matches, because now the championship matches are what? 6 rounds. So take that away for a minute. I think East versus West, if it's just a regular match, is best of 5, but King of Table is 6 rounds no matter what. So think about that, because then strategy plays a part too, right? You can kind of get away with a loss at a King of Table because it's 6 rounds, okay, or first to 4, however you want to use that term. But yet you can't afford to do that at East versus West if it's not a championship match, because it's best of 5. And if you need is 2 more wins, and that's it. There you can afford to. You got a little bit more cushion. And I think, you know, some of the rules may be a little different too. Oh, my Lord. Look who's in the chat. What is up? Did y'all know Nancy Nations, Oregon's own, world champion, by the way, WAF world champion, by the way. What's up? It's been a while. Missed you. When are we going to see you back on the table? Who knows? Now, Nancy, I would have loved to see you mix it up in that ladies round robin. I think you were actually in it, but then some things happened. You couldn't make it, because I would have loved to see you go against Joshua, against Sarah, just to see how you would do. You know, that would have been awesome. You know, so Drill, what'd you miss? We talked about we kicked the show off about the Arnold Classic coming back. You know, sponsored by Knuckles Up. They will be back February 28th, because the Arnold's always the first Saturday in March. So it's February 28th to March 2nd, I believe, 2025, Columbus, Ohio, put on by Knuckles Up. And, by the way, Drew, they're going to offer the left hand. Yes, for the first time ever, because we all know, for those that got into the show late, the Arnold's was always a right-handed tournament. And now they're going to offer the left-hand tournament. Keep in touch with Knuckles Up. Follow them, if you will, because they'll be having some more updates as far as qualifiers. For sure, he said there'll be one in New Jersey because that's where they're based at. So there'll be a qualifier there. I'm sure there'll be one out west. And like I said, my only year I went to the Arnold was awesome. It was 2019, and I had a blast. But see, that weight class was different because then it was 199 and over. Okay, so just to give you a picture, 199 and over. Guess how many people were in that class that year? 27, I believe. Think about that. 27 dudes in that class in the 199 and over, okay? And I think I took 10th maybe or something like that. My two losses were Derek Smith, Robbie Burnett. That's how stacked that class was. Don Underwood was in that class. Marcio Barboza was in that class. Merschler was in that class. I mean, you name it, they was there. So, yes, that was awesome. Awesome experience. Matter of fact, it's so awesome that I actually – you take souvenirs where you go. So I actually still got my hotel room key from Columbus, Ohio. That was my souvenir. So there you go. That's how that went down. So, yes, Nancy said she had a lot of things going on. She couldn't make it. Would love to see how you would have done because, I got to go for my Oregon girls. And Nancy, by the way, did I tell you over the weekend, Oregon's own Katie Henke got a win on another IFA world champion, Jolene Anderson, left-handed, at Arizona State this past weekend. Did you know that? Yes. Yeah, Jolene's happy now. Exactly. So I'm glad they're adding the left arm because, as you guys know, if you follow me, my right hand is taking a beating. And now with the arthritis and the bone spurs, it's just I'm only able to pull basically sideways. I got this as far as I can go. See that? Oh, I can do this here as far as I can go. The bone spur is right there. Arthritis is right there. So I got not a good thing for me, but I got one match in me left, and we'll see how it goes. July 13th, Fort Worth, Texas. Me and Jamie Sheldon going at it. But we're pulling both arms. So he's probably going to dominate me, right? I want to get at least one win. And then we'll go left hand too. So I can't wait for that because that'll be the World Series of Arm Wrestling qualifier, Fort Worth, Texas in July. Thunder's coming down. That's right. Yes. Here. You see this? Old age sucks. Exactly. Do y'all realize I'm a year and a half away from competing at Grand Masters? Think about that for a second. Grand Masters, 50 and over? I'm a year and a half away from that. That's strange to me, right? Sitting here at 48 years old, think about that. That's weird, man. Just don't get old. I may not look old, but I'll tell you what, my body's been through a lot, man. All the years of playing football and rugby and stuff. From a physicality standpoint, yeah, it's just my body's there. But, I got into the sport late in life. So got into this arm wrestling thing in my mid-30s. So I didn't get the like these youngsters, I didn't get the opportunity to go ahead and in my 20s and stuff because I was doing other stuff. So there you have it. But yeah, so pins versus wins. I'm taking the win any way I can. The other question was asking me, do I prefer super matches or tournaments? I love super matches. But again, my style doesn't really mesh with that. It meshes more with a tournament. That's just what it is. Who knows, And then I tell you what, also June 22nd, not only is the LOD tournament, but also it's the second edition of the Aries 64-man Super Series. Now, takes place in Colorado. I was fortunate to be a part of the first one back in March. Matter of fact, here we are, June 4th. Think about this. June 4th, That's today, Tuesday, June 4th. And I've only competed in one goddamn tournament all year. So it's been a lot going on in my life. So I've been kind of, making things all, been checking the box, making sure my T's are crossed, I's are dotted. So that's why I've been to one tournament all year. But that one was in Colorado back in March. It was fun to be the first ever Aries. Matter of fact, I got something to show y'all for a second. Once I get my dog to move. Just check this out. Y'all love this. So go to my match over here with my awards. So you know how Wall had the hammers and stuff like that? So Corey was giving out gifts, and so he had this Spartan helmet. You see the Aries logo, right? You see it. So quick note, here it is. So this was given to the person who had the match of the day. Now, who was it? Wasn't me, but here's a story behind that. So match of the day was, I can't remember who he pulled, but the match of the day, whoever got the helmet was a good friend of mine, Jonathan Vasquez, who now resides in Las Vegas. Now, here's the deal. Tournament's over. We're hanging out, right? And he goes, dude, you got to take this helmet with you. I was like, why? He goes, because I'm going to lose it. I'm like, so what you want me to do? He goes, I know you'll keep it. Take it back on one condition. I'm like, all right, what's up? He goes, hey, you and I got to pull for it. I'm thinking, all right, that's kind of cool. So think about this. As quirky as this may sound, here's a helmet, Aries helmet. I told Corey Miller, I'm like, bro, we can make something out of this. It can be passed around. Have a match. If you win, you get the Aries helmet. You get to challenge people, whatever, that kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool. But I told Jonathan Vasquez he gets first crack because technically it is his. I'm just holding it. That's weird, but whatever, So that's kind of cool. But yeah, if you get a chance to go, obviously the Aries bracket system was awesome. Think about that. 64 dudes. Now, hold on for a second. 64 guys in a tournament. There's probably like, oh, it's probably a small tournament. No. 64 guys in one class. Think about that for a second, okay? 64 guys, one class. That's a lot. I don't know if a WAF Worlds or a IFA Worlds will have 64 people in one particular class. You know what I mean? So think about that. Where did I place? The 64 guys, I think I got 28 or something like that, And that was a right-handed tournament. And I'm like, well, fuck, of course. So here I am, jacked up hand and all. Went and got a couple cortisone injections just to get me through this thing. And then after the second match, I was like, oh, shit, here we go, start to wear out. So I was like, let me just get through this tournament, ibuprofen, whatever the fuck. Went through that. And like a dumbass, when you're numb, you feel nothing. I already got eliminated. Cool, whatever. I'm drinking beers, having fun with everybody else. After pulling, and when you after pull, after you had a few beers or a few drinks and some chicken strips and pizza, then you don't feel nothing till you wake up the next day. Then it's like, oh, shit. Fucking got to drive, fucking jacked up hand, everything. Hasn't recovered since. And I knew I had issues, before that, but I just wanted to get that cortisone shot just to kind of get through the tournament because I think it's always special when you go to a big event like that and you're the first person to be a part of that. So, hey, kudos to Corey Miller. So right now he's got the 243 and over class. And how do you get a part of that? If you go to Aries system, there's a ratings number. And if you rate between a certain area, then you qualify. I actually did qualify in the supers, but I'm like, I'm not putting my hand through that again. No, I don't. Because I think my right-hand competition days are pretty much all but over. Like I said, I got one left in me, and I'm saving that for July. Haven't been really pulling with it because it fucking hurts. So hopefully we'll go to the strap. Doesn't feel as bad in the strap, but whatever. But yeah, that was pretty awesome. And then he'll do the 220 class, 198, and so on. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Good things happen, though. Yes. Yep, I see Vasquez here at practice sometimes. He's a wild guy. Yes, he is wild guy. He's funny. I've been knowing him for years. Him and I go way back. In fact, I got a trophy over here. Oh, there it is. So since you brought his name up, make sure I don't roll over my dog. Since we're looking at trophies and stuff, I beat Jonathan Vasquez for this. This was the 2017 Super Match Trophy. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yes. So this was Washington State. I actually beat Jonathan Vasquez for this. So yeah, me and him got some history. We also pulled in a, speaking of round robins, go ask him. 2012 Redding, California, right? 17-man round robin. Think about that for a second. 17-man round robin. You think 12 is a lot, 17. Matter of fact, and this was put on by Bill Collins and the NAP. So that round robin took so long because it's supposed to be a round robin for the right and left-handers that by the time it was done, we went to the left hand. They're like, nah, man, we ain't got time, man. Let's just go ahead and run a basic tournament. That's how long that was. So think about that for a second. And I think my record was fucking little wins to a lot of losses because it was just a packed house. Yeah. 17 might be too many. So, but it was just, it was the wild, wild west back then. Yeah, you probably need to limit that now. I mean, even at 12. And I'm glad with the way the Ray did hit the ladies round robin because one night you had the 155 and over. That was Friday night. And then Saturday you had, if I'm not mistaken, I think Saturday was the 154 class. You got to have that on two separate days. There's no way you can cram that into one day. And you know what I'm saying? So, yes, I agree. 17 was way too many, but that's how it was back in the early 2010s. Wild, wild west, you know. But anyway, so that was today's topic. The Arnold's coming back, right? Left hand, 2025, February 28th through March 2nd. So that's cool. Knuckles up. And like I said, keep in track with those guys. Follow them, Facebook, Instagram. They'll be making announcements on YouTube too. That way they can kind of announce where the qualifiers is. I know a certain somebody is going to put a bid in out west. I'm not saying who, but I know for a fact. There you go. Yes, you're right. Just use your left. It is. And I'm telling you right now, there might be a qualifier in Texas for the Arnold qualifier. I'm just saying. Don't take my word for it, but there just might be a one in Texas. You never know. Never know. But I'm so glad that is because, again, I was bummed out when that came out and it was like, yeah, no more Arnold for arm wrestling. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like that's been like a staple because once upon a time, that was the tournament to go to. When I first got into the sport in 2011, everyone talked about the Mike Gould Classic in Canada. Everybody talked about the Arnold in Ohio. So it's kind of like, all right, cool, you know, but hey, it's coming back. All right, what we got? Andre says, do you think the round robins are a good idea? The injuries are a higher risk? It all depends. I mean, we do King of the Table, right? But it depends on how many people are actually participating in that. But look at it this way. Nancy Nations, Robin Chandler, y'all can go ahead and feel free to jump in on this one. When you go to a world stage, right? And we'll just use WAF Worlds for this conversation. And you go there, you may have 8-9 people in your class. Now, granted, you may not have to go through all of them, but you're going to be going through some battles and stuff. It all depends. It's all depends on how people, you know. I think Dallas, was he like a last minute entry? I can't remember because if you're not training for it, and knock on wood, I've been involved in 2 round robins and I came out cool. Maybe it's because of the fact that the way I prepared for it was a little different too. I didn't prepare so much for weight strength, you know, like I did 2 round robins. One was at the US Open. Robin Chandler, I think you were there for that one, by the way. That's the one Bill Collins, actually the 2 round robins I was a part of, Bill Collins put those on, by the way. So there you go. The 17-man, that was fucking wild. But the other one was an 8-man round robin. That's probably a good number. When I trained for that, it was more endurance based, you know. Not so much I got to be the strongest, because I tell you what, some of the strongest people that actually came to the 64-man Super Series didn't end up placed in top 3. because it was just, it's not about how strong I can be, because you got the duration of that tournament takes a lot out of you. You know what I mean? So it's all about, conditioning, trying to hit that bullseye every single chance you get, especially when you got all those guys there. So from a round robin perspective, that's how I did it, to each his own, USS Liberty says Andre's a spectator. I don't like them, but I haven't actually participated in one. I'm telling you, it's different. It's different. Hell, if you want to go there, I mean, I know we're talking about round robins, but when you go to a event like Arm Wars, right? And I went there last year, and 6 rounds. I can't tell you how it drained me out. And I had a bunch of matches that weekend, and I was like fried going home on the plane. 11 hours, by the way, in the air. But I'll tell you what, though, you don't realize how much conditioning takes in when it comes to arm wrestling until you experience a round robin. And I'm not talking about a 4-man. That's different. 8 guys, maybe more. It's going to test your endurance. 6 rounds. I mean, if you're having battles, it's going to test your endurance no matter what. And of course, at Arm Wars, you're on the stage, everybody's watching, and you're into it. And you got the hot lights coming down on you and stuff, that extra sweat, there's that too. So it all depends on how you prepare for that. I do agree that 17 is a little bit too much, but I can sit there and go, yeah, I was a part of it. It was a wild night that night too. So when you got people like Jonathan Vasquez and Luke Kent and Kenny Hughes and Brandon Dye and Nano Cruz, and the list goes on and on. That was cool. After a few hard pulls, you go into a bad position, 3 bicep tears in 2 events. Yeah, a lot of it too is I know, and I could be wrong, but y'all go ahead and feel free to jump in here. When one gets tired, the first thing to go is your technique, and that's in any sport. You get tired in baseball, as a pitcher, you're not as sharp. You get tired in basketball and defense, your hands go down. They're not as up anymore. You get tired in football, running routes, you get a little slower. Your routes are not crisp. Your 10-yard out becomes be a rounded out, So I know when you get tired, your technique may not be as crisp. So maybe that might be. I'm speculating. I don't know if that was the case, but I know that tends to happen sometimes. So yeah, I mean that could be, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how people prepare for that, because if you take those 2 injuries away, then what about the other guys? They were fine. So I mean, it all depends on the person too. Yeah, it's unfortunate AJ got hurt. It's unfortunate Dallas Langston got hurt. I didn't see Craig Tullier have any issues, or Brent Rockers, or Ryan Ballesteros, Roger Kangenham, Sharkovich. Those guys were fine. So I mean, it all depends on the person, I guess. But it's all good, But with tournaments, you have more rest time. Yeah, you do. You're right. You do have more rest time in tournaments. But a lot of times it depends on the only time that doesn't benefit you is that, and we'll use Arizona State or Washington State, because they run 3 tables. Awesome event, by the way. Now, 3 tables, right? That means table 1's going to be one class. Table 2 is going to be another class. Table 3 is going to be another class. What if you're that guy that pulls 2 classes? What if we start the tournament 154 table 1, 176 table 2, 198 table 3? What if you're pulling 2 classes in one of those 3 I just mentioned? Because see, now it's like you could be in a war, fine, you win, all of a sudden now you're next on table 2 because you're pulling 2 classes. That'd be the only downfall to that, Andre. That's the only thing I see. But it depends on what tournament you go to, because some tournaments will just offer, if it's small enough, 1 table. If it's somewhat big, let's go ahead and get 2 tables. But when you got 3, then you got to think about, okay, if I'm pulling 2 classes, and it's the same hand, then there may be a time where that table has to be on hold, or they'll skip your match because you're in the previous match on table 2 in your actual weight class. Then when you get done, now you're on deck and you're ready to go for the class you're pulling up too. So it all, yes, you could stagger them, but a lot plays in a factor. And like you said, inside versus outside pulling. If you're outside pulling, you tend to get stuff done pretty quick. Unless you're stuck in some King's move and you kind of, all right, let's get ready for this marathon, So that's just inside pulling, it's going to be a war. That's where you got to go. I got to build all this inside up here because I'm going to be in there for a while. Whereas a top roller, I want to make sure all this from here up, for you top rollers, from here up, you want to make sure this is just ready to roll. From here down, inside pull, you want to make sure all this is taken care of. It all depends. And you can shoulder commit in either move. So it all depends, how you look at stuff. But yeah, round robins, we're not done yet because I think Larray has a few more he's going to issue out. Don't forget his invitation in December. I'm still trying to figure out how in the world is he going to have all them superstar athletes in that small town of Tennessee come December. Now, think about that. And we're talking about invitational. But it's kind of like Corey's to a certain degree, but it's not because Corey's is more 64-man, whereas the Rays is more 32-man, right? And, who knows, Supers in Florida. Nathan, tell me exactly what you mean by that. Supers in Florida. It will be in Florida. Gotcha. Well, hell, did we just skip over the 242 class? Is that what we did? And I don't know if you meant Larray's or Corey's. I don't know because we got two things going on too, which is good, That's the next round robin. Okay, cool. There you go. So the next round robin, as Nathan said, will take place in Florida. Do you know when in Florida? Because that'll be something to look at also, So, but again, guys, there's tournaments out there. I really want, not to put my arm wrestling team on blast, but I got to talk to them. I want all my guys to compete this year at some point. And if you know me, Oregon ain't what it used to be in arm wrestling anymore, unfortunately. I mean, we used to have Oregon State. We don't have a state title tournament anymore. Maybe I can get a hold of Tim Thomas and go, hey, can we make that happen? So September 7th, the Supers round robin in Florida. There you go. What else is in September? Oh, yeah. Knuckles Up. September 14th. Knuckles Up. What are we on, 4 now? Or something like that? So there's that. A lot of stuff coming up. But again, Oregon is it sucks. Because it's like going, think about that for a second. There was a moment where we didn't have to travel a whole lot. If you wanted to, you could. But in Oregon, we had the Willamina event put on by Herman McCoy every year, July 4th. It won't happen this year. I don't think it happened last year. You got the U.S. Open always took place in the spring, at Chinook Winds Casino on the coast. That was always a good one. Oregon State always took place the weekend of St. Patty's Day up in Klamath Falls. That was also good because then you had Washington making that long trip. You had Nevada, California, Montana, Idaho. They would all make that trip there. That was always a good one to go to. But those are no more. So it's my tournament in June. You got Herman McCoy's tournament that probably won't happen this year. Then you got Jonathan Woody's tournament the last Saturday in July in Myrtle Creek. That's it for Oregon. That is it. We are a summer time pulling events now, and that's pretty much it, unfortunately. But you can always count on Washington State in December. I think Tim said December 14th, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of my favorite events. Sorry, Jonathan. September is going to be awesome. December, Washington State. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. But first things first, for me, Fort Worth, Texas, July 13th. Jamie Sheldon and I got a date on the table. Right-handed. Come on, just give me one more tournament. Actually, super match, and then that'll probably be done for me. And then we're also pulling left hand. And then the next day, which would be Saturday, the actual 13th, then we got the qualifying event, and they got some studs down there. So I can't wait for that. be sure to hit a qualifier. I'm telling you, I think Jamie's kicking his off. It's the end of this month, I believe, at his new restaurant, Antone's, Riverside, California. So be there. I think Florida has one. California, another California may have one. New York has one. I think Kansas City has one. So it's going to be fun. Get a hold of Greg Sharp. Matter of fact, when I get done with this, I'm going to go ahead and post all the qualifiers and stuff on Facebook. And so y'all can sit there and see. Choose your weapon. There you go. Anyway, we've been on here for almost an hour, but just want to get on there and talk about that and just free talk. We had a subject that we kind of went on and on. That's good. We're just talking, right? So everybody in the chat, thank you very much for joining me today. Enjoy your Tuesday, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.